Shalom Yashrala, this is your brother Dawada, coming back at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Rakak Dash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders, of the great millstone that taught us this truth and ever will. And salutation and much love for you, I can push this truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. I wanted to jump into this here lesson real quick, which was inspired by, actually a conversation, but then through the spirit, these two articles popped up, and it was going right along with this with the spirit of the topic of the video I want to go into. All right, but I found it kind of funny. This article here says Russia finalizes the community propaganda ban. All right, now what you have to understand is we live in this here time now where they're pushing forth of all these different ways of doing whatever you want and everything else like that. And these ideologies are being pushed and promoted and put out in the forefront. A lot of these things sound good on a surface level, especially if you're being raised like by these women out here, that deal emotionally. All right, now there's a lot of different things that you can say to appease people's feelings and emotions and on surface levels. Like, do you think all people should be treated fair and equal? Most people say, yeah, of course, everybody should be treated fair and equal. But then you get into the semantics of it. Well, what about, criminals? You know what I'm saying? What happens if somebody's drinking and driving and, they kill your loved one or something like that in a car accident? Do you think that they should just be let out like everybody else, be free like everybody else, or should they be treated different? Should you treat criminals the same as you treat, law-abiding citizens? All right. Should, somebody that mess around with little children, should they be able to babysit like children and things like that? People, no, of course you got to treat them different. Well, but you said everybody should be treated equal, so with a lot of this ideology being pushed forward, you have to understand what it's going into. All right. Now, I'm going to play a video here in a second that's going into that, but I also wanted to talk about these two articles. But I was watching a video earlier about, dealing with what they call it, body positivity. Again, another buzzword that sounds great. Body positivity. We should be, positive about our bodies and everything else like that. Well, somebody had made this video about some women who was so-called body positive type things and going on and talking about how they love their the flabs and all this, the jiggling and all this different stuff and everything else like that. But then they showed them over a course of time. It's like, oh, they're all body positive. You should be doing whatever you want. It doesn't matter. And your weight doesn't make you happy. And they're coming out with all these fake statistics and like, oh, well, your weight really isn't about, what you bring in and like what you eat, and diet and exercise is more or less about your, sociological things and all this propaganda. Basically, is you have to understand it's propaganda, and the reason they tell you these things, which I'm gonna get into, but but anyway, they showed these women that was all so-called body positivity and sharing all these so-called facts and sharing all these statistics and all these different things, and then some years on down the road, all these same women was out there saying about how they have to have surgery, how their health is taking a nosedive, and they're just unhappy and all these different things, but yet still they was pushing this here ideology. It sounded good on paper, but then when you really look it out, it's like, well, look at the end product of this. If there was somebody that was in control of all these things, hell, all I did was I sold you a bunch of food. I made extra money off of the food that I wound up selling you. Now you're gonna need a surgery, so I'm gonna make money off the surgeries that you're gonna have to provide for. Then for the psychological help and everything else like that, the depression and all these different things, I'm going to be selling you multiple different products instead of, just telling you the truth from the beginning. Just eat healthy, diet, and exercise. You should be all right. But yet and still, no, I'm going to feed you lies for the purpose of, hey, if you believe this, you know what I'm saying? If you believe this here stuff just because it's emotionally feeling good unto you, I can lead you astray. All right. Now, going into this here, couple of these articles real quick, just to show you like the difference between what's going on in America, all right, and the Western way of thinking and what they're doing over there in Russia. Because when you look around and what's going on over here, man, all right, you have this place going down a downhill slope extremely fast. All right, now we're gonna listen to a video where they talk about demoralization, which is going into how or they call ideological subversion, basically brainwashing the nation. And they give you the steps on how to do all these things in reality. Hey, the Most High gave us the same rundown in the scriptures, all right, which we're going to touch on to. But I just wanted to bring out a little bit of these two articles here about what Russia's doing versus what America's doing. So it says Russia finalized the community propaganda ban. All right, so let me just read a little bit of this first two paragraphs. It says the Federation Council, Russia's upper chamber, of Parliament has approved a bill on Wednesday that imposes a complete ban on the community, pedophilia, and sex change propaganda. All right. It says the bill, which now is set to become law after Russia's President Vladimir Putin uh, signs off on it, outlaws respective propaganda in books, movies, media, and advertisement, which you have a lot of that being pumped out here in America. But you have to understand it's like, when dealing with how is it? I forgot what it's called. What they said it's your fat phobia or whatever. You don't want to date a woman because she's fat or something like that, or calling these people by these pronouns that they want to be called by. I mean, when you get into things like that, the reason they try to sell you on these types of things like that because they know if they can persuade you to believe in an illusion or delusion, they'll get you to believe in any and everything else. And we'll hear about this a little bit in this here this video, this video clip. But nevertheless, hey, if I can convince you that left is right and right is left, all right, and you can program that into your mind, even though you know what it's now. This is what it's supposed to be. I know this is what you think it is, but look, this is actually the opposite. You have people that start believing things like that. You can sell them any damn thing. Now, just look at these people that's believing in a lot of these different things. The so-called body positivity people that just think that being obese is nothing wrong with that. There's no health issues and none of these things. Like, we all know that there's health issues with those things. You can't even breathe, can't move around. You know what I'm saying? Putting all that extra stress in your heart. Like, there's evidence about these things, but yet and still, you want to shy away from these things. All right, but yet and still, hey, they do that with the Most High, man. All right, the things that the evidence is here, but yet people want to think the opposite of these things and think that they can just push the envelope. Like, yo, humanity has been around for thousands of years, and there's a reason that we did things in certain types of ways. Now you think all of a sudden in this last, 20 or 30 years that you can, really the last, 10, 20 years, you can just change up the whole script on everything and don't think it's going to go downhill. Look at all these prior civilizations and how they all crashed. But going back into this, all right, just wanted to read these two first paragraphs about how they're trying to ban this in the books, the media, and the advertisement, whereas on TV now, they're normalizing these things. So when you normalize these things for a generation to come up, everybody believe, well, you just do whatever you want to go and do and live however you want to live. Like, again, going back into the video I was watching about these body positivity people, and they were pushing the same, just do whatever you want to do, live however you want to live. There's no consequences. This is all just made up and trying to oppress you in the patriarchy or whatever the hell they was talking about. But yet and still, these same women that was pushing and promoting those things years later, talking about how they have to have surgeries, liposuctions, and all these different things, and they're just not healthy. They can't move no more, and all these different things going on. Like, but there's real effects on these things, man. Yet and still, when you was telling everybody these things and everything was all happy go lucky, but behind the scenes you over here getting surgeries, man. All right, and a lot of these other alternative lifestyles, all right, that people are living, it's the same thing, man. All right, these people that's going out and living you could say even in the community. All right, these people that's living in this here community, they'll even tell you about ththese things, man. All right, this is why they have a rate that skyrocketed of them pretty much offing themselves, man. All right, you also have what do you call it, dealing with the T's in the community and things like that, man. All right, they'll even tell you about these things. After a certain amount of time, they wish that they would have never have done these things, man. But yet and still, they have hey, even look at people that do drugs, man. All right, drugs and alcoholics and everything else like that. When they first started, hey, it was all fun and dandy. But then you look at them years down the road, and then you see how their life actually turned out to be, man. All right, it's not like what they would try to sell this to anybody else. Look at the OF models and things like that, man. Look at these women that so-called going out here and having being sexually liberated and everything else like that. When they get a little bit older and they start it's all fun and dandy when they're in their 20s doing these types of things, but then when they get in their 30s, 35s, and 40s, what I'm saying, there's a different different tone is coming out. All right, but hey, look at the difference here of what Russia is pushing for their people. All right, like the scripture we'll get into. Let's grab that real quick. This is actually, we'll come back to this. This is Proverbs 30 and 12. What was I looking for? Oh, this is Sirach. We'll read this first. Sirach 10 and 1. It says, "A wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered." As a judge of the people. So, hey, going into these things, if a wise judge is going to instruct his people to do wise things. All right, you know what I'm saying? To if you want your civilization to go forth, No, to put it this way, let's not talk about a judge or a governor or anything else like that, man. All right, let's talk about a head of a household, a parent with their children. All right, a wise parent would instruct their child to do good things. Hey, take out the trash, clean your room. Make sure you take care of your hygiene and everything else like that. Hey, make sure you lock the door and everything else like that. You know why? Because that's gonna make this whole ship sail a lot smoother. All right, but an unwise parent's like, well, look, you do whatever you want to go and do, live however you want to go and live, have whatever kind of friends you want to have. And now, before you know it, your kid then brought home some junky friends. They all stealing from your house, getting your house shot up. Your kid is all tatted all up in their face and everything else like that. Your kid's now dead by the time they're 25 because they've been in the drug dealing and prostitution and everything else like that. I mean, we see this all the time, man. You see these people who live those types of lifestyles and die off really young. But, when you look at the one thing that they all have in common, they didn't really have anybody to give them good instruction in life. Or if they did, they didn't take that instruction. They just lived however they wanted to live. All right. And then it wound up catching up onto them, man. All right. And all those people that have those types of lifestyles and live like that, man, they all have the same thing in common, man. All right. But yet and still you have other people who so-called do better off in life. What they have let's just say somebody, this is probably a bad example, but just to give you an example, somebody like a Elon Musk getting where he's at, man. Elon Musk didn't, get to where he's at to be able to do the things that he's doing by, going out there and stealing car radios out of people's cars and getting into the gang life and, getting all tatted up, putting on for the set and everything else like that. Man, hey, man, you gonna want to put the same thing. But then you look at those people who was putting on for the set and everything. Man, there's a endless amount of graves out there from the same types of people living the same types of lifestyles, man. All right, without boundaries and things like that. So, hey, if you a parent in a household, all right, we read about a government, but hey, if you're a parent in a household, you would instruct your children to be wise so you don't have these types of issues and things like that, man. All right, when you got a house where children aren't raised with like fathers in their homes or good role models in their homes, that's how you get the kids. The police come dropping them off in the middle or picking them up in the middle of the night, arresting them. You got to go down to the police station and everything else like that, man. All right, so how much more a nation of people being led by a government? All right, it says a wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of the prudent man is well ordered. As the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers, and what manner of the ruler of the city is, such are they that dwell therein. Now, going again off the example of a parent, in a household, you might have grown up with kids like this whose parents was like, drug addicts and drug users over there doing drugs and getting high with their kids and everything else like that, man. All right, the parents don't really amount to nothing in life. Now the kids sit here skipping school, dodging school, and doing drugs with the parents. You see them 10, 20 years later, and they're in the same boat with them and their parents, man. All right, they both over there scrounging up to go get some change, to go get some drugs, doing it together. Not like they're going to really be, like they say, the apple don't fall far from the tree. All right, because they was over there getting high with their parents. It's going to be the same way. All right, but then sometimes you have those of the household whose parents are hard workers, maybe business owners or go to college type things. And guess what? The children want to follow in those same footsteps. So how much more the leader of a nation, man? All right, if you got a leader of a nation that's pushing and promoting all this here wickedness, what do you think that people gonna wind up doing, man? All right, they're being pushed to this here confusion. All right, it says verse 3. It says, an unwise king destroyeth his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. So an unwise king destroyeth his people. So again, it's the same as like giving that example of a parent that's out there just getting high and everything else like that, and the kid wind up catching them. Hey, man, they're going to probably wind up getting high together, man. All right, the mom or the father and the son out there stealing radios together, you know what I'm saying, and going to their pawn shop, pawning it for some drugs. The mother and the daughter, the mother over here bringing different dudes in the house selling her body. Now the daughter over here on OnlyFans selling her body, man. All right, so, hey, man, they're being led, the, how do I say, the example that they have to look up to is not a great example. So how much more when your government or your, the people where you're living at, all right, is pushing this here down on the people. What do you think is going to wind up happening, man? All right, this is how you get led astray. All right, now let's go back to this here article real quick. So this one here is about how Russia is banning this here type of stuff, right? Now this one here says books to replace toys in Russian Happy Meals. So basically in this one here, let me just read a little bit of this one as well too. All right. It says, as a gift, every kids combo set will have one of 14 exclusive books and various puzzles and mazes by the clever publishing house. The restaurant chain said, adding that books of this kind contribute to development of children's memory, logic, and attention span. Now, what are they pushing to promote in America? All right, or they got ADHD, attention deficit disorder or whatever it's called, ADD or whatever it is. All right, so the kids can't pay attention. They can't sit down for too long. Hey, a lot of you Americans have short attention spans, man. All right, because why? You go on like TikTok and everything, where you got like, I don't even know how long the videos are, but short. It's like a short. The videos aren't too long, so you don't have a long attention span. People, they give you what do they call it? Character, how many characters that you can get, like when you type it on like your social media sites and everything else like that. They give you a certain amount of characters that you can use just to keep your mind, it gets you used to only reading small phrases and things like that, man. There's a study that says once the communication goes, or the language goes, the civilization falls after that. We start seeing people doing shorthand. All right, like for instance, uh, you spell the word what, WHAT. People start spelling what, WAT. All right, shorthand. But over time, people forget actually how to spell. Now you're seeing people becoming dumber and dumber and dumber as the days go along. All right, but yet and still, you still have again, this not shorthand, but you know, not too many character count in these little boxes. So it gets people used to reading what they call status bars, or people put up a little, posting on their little social media, Twitter and everything else like that, right? But what does that get people used to? Oh, when they read articles, now they just all of a sudden just read the headline. So now you can have a misleading headline, just like when you go on YouTube, you find clickbait, but then the how they say, oh, you got to read the fine print, read the details of certain things. People don't want to hear these things no more, man. People don't want to read books, especially books or the Bible or anything long length, all right, to find out real information. All right, you got to actually, when you want to find out a lot of information about stuff, you got to go through a lot of information. But yet and still, you want, you live in this here microwave society where you want everything quick, fast, and convenient in a hurry. All right. So just want to show out these here two articles. Now, we was reading about how a wise man will instruct his people. All right, and then an unwise king is going to destroy them. All right, but this is what you have going on over here. I don't want to. Let me see. Uh, Matter of fact, there's something else in this chapter I want to read real quick. We start down in verse 12. The beginning of pride is when one departeth from the Most High, and his heart is turned away from his Maker. All right, and hey, that's where you got a lot of that right now. That's going on, pride. All right, you can't tell me nothing. I know what's right. And again, going into the body positivity, not just that, but there's a lot of these different things just like that as well too. Where basically they're saying, "Do thou wilt, do whatever makes you happy," and all these things. Well, don't judge me. Don't do this. Hey, it's new time. We can do whatever we want to go and do. These people have this here mind state that these things is going forth to the point to where they could just do whatever. You know what? We can grab that Proverbs 30 now, but let me finish this off. Sirach 10 and 12. It says, matter of fact, let me come back to this. I think it's 30 and 12. Yeah. Proverbs 30 and 12, it says, there's a generation that is pure in their own eyes, and is not washed from their filthiness. So this is the generation that we're living in now. Hey, do thou will. Do whatever you want to do. Do whatever, feels good to you. All right. Despite all the science and everything else that we have going on, just, hey, this is what it is. Now, and we've all seen these super obese people who can't breathe, can't move, got to have a walker and everything else like that. My 500-pound, whatever the show's called. We all know that this is all unhealthy for you, but yet still you have people that can convince you that, oh, well, hey, just be body positive. They don't want you to, they're just trying to hold you down as what they call it, the patriarchy and everything else like that. They just, hey, if you want to be big, be big and be happy. You know what I'm saying? You can be big and happy at the same time, yet and still, as again, living without discipline and things like that, man. All right, people, and it says a lot about people. A lot of these things says a lot about people. Like let's just say sticking to the body positivity. If you don't want to diet and exercise and things like that, because for you to be able to diet and exercise, you have to have discipline, all right, to stay on track with these things. But a lot of people don't have self-will, don't have control over their own spirit. So what? They just do whatever. Let me find that precept real quick. Matter of fact, let me read this. Proverbs 30 and 12. There's a generation that is pure in their own eyes, and yet is not washed from their filthiness. There's a generation, oh, how lofty are their eyes and their eyelids lifted up. All right. Before that precept slips out of my mind, I'm looking for I guess All right, this is Romans 8:5. For they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh, but they that are after the spirit, the things of the spirit. For to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace. All right. It says, because the carnal mind is enmity against the Most High, for it is not subject to the laws of the Most High, neither indeed can be. All right. So, and they that are of the flesh cannot please the Most High. Again, going back, hey, you're gonna have discipline, man. All right. You just living after the flesh is doing whatever feels good to the flesh at the point in time is it's not gonna be good for you. All right. But you have these people that's pretty much what they're telling you nowadays, man. Just do whatever, the least amount of resistance. Hey, if you just want to get up and be lazy, do that. You don't have to work. You don't have to do any of these things, man. All right. But yet and still, they're selling people, again, it's giving you over into a reprobate mind. In fact, or what is this? Romans 8. We can get to Romans 1 here shortly. But matter of fact, let's go to Romans 1 real quick, and then we'll play a little bit of this here video. Because they break this down here in Romans 1, dealing with this. Romans 1 and 21, as a matter of fact. Actually, let me read this in NLT. All right? Because this is going to be exactly what this guy explains to you of how this is done. All right? And this is what you see going on right about now, man. The things, let me grab that precept right there as well, too. What is that? Isaiah 10? Not 10. Well, there's a good one right there in Isaiah 10. I guess Isaiah 5. Slack it. Let me find this precept real quick. But this wasn't what I was looking for. This is a good one too. Isaiah 5 and 20. It says, woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. All right. Let me see. It doesn't really translate too much. Read verse 21. Woe to them that are wise in their own eyes and prudent in their own sight. So we just read about that. There's a generation that's pure in their own eyes, man. That think that whatever they think is good for them is good for them. All right. This is why you always had, not just to say elders, but you had, people that was so-called before you that would give you certain guidelines in life. Hey, man, fire is hot. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to learn by, feeling the fire for yourself. I can just tell you it's hot. You don't want to touch fire, man. You know what I'm saying? Or in fact, certain things. This animal is dangerous. You don't want to just roll up on this animal or have this animal roll up on you. All right, or just any and everything, man. All right, it's better for people to pass things down onto you instead of you just trying to, not to say figure it out on your own. Well, whatever is good for me is good for me. All right, because hey, we've seen from generations to generations of people doing certain things, what was wise and what wasn't wise, dealing with the promiscuous women and things like that. And you have multiple different generations of people, multiple different cultures of people and everything else like that, who pretty much all said the same thing, that a woman shouldn't be going out and about and being promiscuous and all these different things. They had, reasons behind all those things, man. And when you look at those societies that upheld those things, those societies stayed intact a lot longer. But when it came to the downfall of those societies, it all pretty much all looked the same at the end all be all, man. All right. These women started getting this here freedoms and things like that, so-called being sexually liberated and everything, sleeping around with a bunch of different men. Now you're having children being born out of wedlock. All right. Not having families together. The family unit is the strongest thing. So if you don't have a family together, you having these children, who's going to teach the child? Who's going to pass on that knowledge of how to do things if the family isn't together, man? All right. And you see these things going on nowadays, man. This new generation don't know how to cook, don't know how to fold clothes. All they know how to do is order some damn Uber Eats, all right, and Snapchat and shit like that, man. But when it comes to things around the house, they don't know a damn thing, man. They can't even do their own damn laundry nowadays, man. All right, but hey, they don't have that lineage of family to be able to show them these things no more, because it's all been tainted. All right, but let me see if I can find this precept I was looking for before it slipped my mind. I heard this. It's Isaiah 29:16. It says, surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay, for for shall the work of him of Slack, for shall the work say of him that made it, he had made me not, or shall the thing framed say of him that framed it, he hath no understanding. All right. And so, hey, this is what these people nowadays are doing, man. Oh, God don't know what's best for us. We know what's best for ourselves. Hey, you got these people saying they don't need God no more. They're going to become their own gods. All right. Oh, we don't need, y'all living all in the old past and the biblical ways. Hey, this is the new way of doing these things. And these people, they push forth this here ideology as if they just so smart and so bright, coming up with some new stuff as if nobody's ever thought about those things. Oh, I wonder what would happen if we would just, what's so wrong with women wanting to be promiscuous and sleep or whatever? They trying to hide something from us. No, they just know what's going to happen, what it's going to lead to, man. All right. But you look at all these people that live down, live these certain types of lifestyles. Let's just go back to the body positivity things about dieting and exercising. They think that all of a sudden it's some new revelation. How about we just not diet and exercise and eat however we want to eat? There's no right way of doing it, no wrong way of doing it. We'll just do however we want to do it, man. But then you go back and you look at these obese people dying of heart attacks, people can't move around and everything else like that. And you ask them, would they rather have not gained all that weight and everything? They'll tell you, yeah. People smoking cigarettes and drinking too much liquor, and all of a sudden they got messed up livers and things like that. They'll tell you, hey, I wish I would have never done all these things, man. All right, people that's meth addicts, crackheads, and things like that. 9 times out of 10, you ask them, like, bro, would you wish you would have never took that shit the first time? They would tell you, yeah. But yet and still, they telling these people, hey, there's whatever you want to go and do, live it up. You're pure in your own eyes, man. All right, calling good evil and evil good, turning everything upside down, right for wrong and wrong for right. All right, now we can go to that unrighteous decrees. That I just quoted that Isaiah 10. Yep, it says Isaiah 10:1. Woe to them that decree unrighteous decrees and write grievousness which they prescribe. All right, so hey, this is what they have going on. Writing these unrighteous decrees. You have this what do you call it? This regime, I guess, for lack of a better term, that's in office now, which is like a repeat of the Obama regime, and they're pushing out this here ideology, man. The whatever they call it, the left or whatever it is, the left or the right, whatever side it is. But they go into these different things, and again, they're using these sweet and swelling words about giving all this here opportunity for these folks and everything else like that. But hey, look at our society, look at everything crumbling, man. All right, we all, if you're of a certain age, you start to see some of these younger folks coming around and some of the shit that they got popping off, and the things that they complained about is like, yo, we would have never said nothing. Like, we wouldn't even fix our mouth to complain about some of this stuff, man. Forgot who it was. I think it was with the Elon Musk situation. You got folks complaining that they got to come show up to the damn office to do some work. Like, I think that this is an oppressive type of company to make me have to get up off my couch and actually go show up to work to go and do some work. I want to just sit at home and do nothing. Like, what the hell? What you mean? Well, quit your job then and just sit at home. Nah, I want to get paid for all this. Well, what make you think you're going to sit at home and get, because I'm entitled to it, But, everybody else is of an older age. You got to go to work and go put in some damn work to get a paycheck. But yet still, hey, man, this is what this here new generation is going into. So it says, woe to him that decree unrighteous decrees and then that right grievousness which they have prescribed. So going back into those 2 articles about reading, hey, look, this is what Russia and them is doing, right? But now I'm going to play a little bit of this here video and look at the things that's going on over here in America. But listen to the steps and the plans that they have going forth. All right, where's that? Romans, pull that up. But here's the video. This is KGB defector Yuri whatever, Bezmenov, right? They talk about this, and this is an old video. I've actually covered this video quite a few times. But hey, this is when we'll read it as well. Let's read this first, and then we'll play a little bit of the video. Romans 1 and starting at 21. But I'm going to read this in the NLT, all right, just so it's clear. Romans 1 and 21. Yes, they knew God, but they wouldn't worship him as God or even give him thanks, all right? And this is what you have these here people are doing nowadays, man. All right, they understood these things, man. And as generations go forth, you see more and more people, it's funny because they say that they're non-religious now, or non-spiritual now, but then they all come and pick up all these different spiritual things and everything else like that. But, hey, man, this is, these people are reprobate people, man. All right. Oh, I don't believe in God. You believe in some kind of spirit up in the world and everything else like that. Well, then the next breath is like, oh, I got to get my spirit God and pray to my soul and so forth and put this little altar up for such and such to give me some powers, granted powers, and this spirit I be dealing with. Like, motherfucker, y'all said y'all don't believe in no spirit in the sky, but now y'all got your own spirits that y'all done created, or these other demonic entities that y'all over here talking to or whatever. But getting still, hey, these are backwards people. They understand that there's different little powers and deities that they go into, but they're like, you don't think that there's one over top of all these all these deities that y'all fucking with. You know what I'm saying? But this is the monster that they being given over to. So it says, yes, they knew God, but they wouldn't worship him as God or even give him thanks. And they begin to think up foolish ideas of what God was like. And as a result, their mind became dark and confused. All right. So, and the Lord gave them over to these vain imaginations. All right. So they created their own God. And my God ain't like that. My God wouldn't care what I eat. My God wouldn't care what kind of drugs. My God just want me to be happy. Well, hey, yeah, your God would want you to be happy, but he knows what you would need. Like, it's like having a conversation with an adult and a kid. All right. You trying to negotiate this shit with a child. Well, what kind of parent wouldn't want their child to be happy? You know what I'm saying? Like, well, I want my child to be happy, but I'm not finna sit here and let you have it your way. I mean, I'm the adult, you the child. I'm not finna let you sit here and eat chocolate bars and cookies all damn night for dinner and everything. No, you gonna eat a regular meal. All right, you ain't finna be just loading up on snacks and sweets and everything, and your ass is going to bed at a certain point in time. You're not gonna stay up playing a video game at 5:30 in the morning. Or have to be up for school at 6 o'clock. Now you dragging up out the bed. You don't want to get up and go to school. All right, I know better than that. I know where this leads you, what type of path this leads you down onto, man. I'm not finna let you and your little friends go do drugs in the backyard and everything else like that day in and day out. I know what it leads to, man. All right, so I'm gonna tell you now, y'all can't do that around here. All right, that's a good loving parent that love their child, but from a child's perspective, what kind of parent wouldn't want me to eat whatever I want to go and eat? It's my body. I should be able to do whatever I want to do with it. Yeah, you should, but you don't really understand what's going on right about now. Or if I should be able to tattoo my whole body up if I want to. Like, hey, it is your body. But at the same time, look, I know what's good for you and what's not good for you. You 15, 16 right now. But when you get about 25, 30, maybe trying to get your own crib or something like that, and you got to go get a serious fucking job, and you realize, like, anybody gonna give you no serious job. You all completely tatted up like this, so you're never gonna be able to afford nowhere to get your own house. You're not thinking about that right now, but because I love you, I'm gonna tell you about these things. I'm gonna stop you from doing these things. But see, people, they don't want to think about God in that sense. They want to create God into their own image. Oh, it's my body. I'll be able to do. I see this all the time, man. You see, especially with a lot of these women, they getting these big chest tattoos and tatted all up and everything else like that when they're the young, hot party girl and everything. Like, yeah, all these guys are sleeping with you right now, but wait till you get a little bit older and then you start wanting to have an actual relationship and have some guy bring you to his family functions and meet his parents and everything. Ain't no real stand-up guy. You might get some Edomites that'll do this that look just as bad as you, but you know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody finna bring you around their damn parents. You got these face tats, chest tats, and everything else like that. Like, nah, I mean, I might sleep with you, but I'm not bringing you around my mom and them. That's when it's gonna start kicking in that, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done all these things. Yeah, you was having fun while you was doing it, but this is the result and the consequences you have to pay, man. All right. So it says, let me read this in the KJV. It says, professing themselves to be wise, they became fools. All right. So, hey, claiming to be wise, they instead became utter fools because they come out with these so-called statistics and, oh, with this and that. And, they have this, they have all this type of stuff that sounds smooth and sounds good and swelling and everything else like that. But at the end all be all, it's all lies, man. Like, again, going back to the body positivity videos that these women was pushing out and how they was fat and flabby and liked it and loved it. They was happy and healthy. At the same time, it's like they didn't see nothing wrong. But then you go down the road a couple years, now they all crying, miserable, life falling apart, got a divorce, don't nobody really want them. All right, they unhealthy, can't barely move. All right, can't breathe at night. Can't is not very mobile and everything else like that, man. Hey, so now all of a sudden, because they want to, well, let me see, we hadn't got there yet, but this is verse 24. Let me just read down real quick. It says, claiming to be wise, they instead became utter fools, and instead of worshiping the glorious ever living God, they worship idols made to look like mere people and birds and animals and reptiles. That's the point I want to grab 24. So God abandoned them to do whatsoever shameful things their hearts desired. As a result, they did vile and degrading things with each other's bodies. All right, which we'll get further down into that. But the fact of the matter is God abandoned them to do whatever shameful things their hearts desired. And as a result, they did vile and degrading things. And so, hey, this is what happens, man. The Lord gives you over to a reprobate mind. All right, to sit here and do all this crazy stuff to pretty much do, man. All right, but then you see, at the end all be all, man, these people all come to a crashing end. All right, these people who was feeling like, it's just funny. Somebody had said this the other day about sexually liberating these here women to get them from the oppression of men and everything else like that, to empower women, for women empowerment. What they should do is just sleep around with whoever that they want. It's like, But see, these women, they hear that and they believe that, yeah, I'm sexually empowered. I'm this, and that, and I'm taking back my power as a woman and everything. Can't no man hold me down. Like, so how you think you plan on getting back at men by doing what? Sleeping around with as many men as possible? Like, that's really going to teach men a lesson because you giving them some free box without having to commit unto you. And it's just leaving you spoiled without no commitment. Now they just getting more boxed. Like, the problem is in the beginning, you go over here mad because they getting all this here box out here. Now all of a sudden you're going to start giving them boxes to so-called show them a lesson, but yet they don't understand these things, man. So hey, the Lord gave them over to a reprobate mind. All right. Verse 25, they traded the truth of the Most High for a lie, and they worship and serve things God created instead of the Creator Himself, who is worthy of eternal praise. Amen. And this is why, God abandoned them to their shameful desires. Even women turn against the natural way to have sex and instead indulge in sex with each other. And the men, instead of having normal sexual relations with women, burn in lust for each other. Men did shameful things with other men, and as a result of this sin, they suffer within themselves the penalty they deserved. And so, hey, going into, that's pretty much self-explanatory. All right. And, again, this is, which we'll get into this here video here in a second. But again, if you let me see. Is it I can read all that, but nevertheless, giving them over to this here Slack, give me a second. All right, so look, giving them over to a reprobate mind, an unfit and unproven, a spurious or reprobate. All right, a worthless mind. All right, literally or morally. All right, a castaway, a reject, a reprobate. All right, this is how the Lord wound up giving these people over to start believing in any of these things. And like I said, as you see them further on down the road, you see how their whole life is just in a shamble, man. All right, you starting to see the OnlyFans effect that's going on right about now. A lot of these women after doing OnlyFans and realizing they weren't going to become millionaires, or if they did become millionaires, realize they can't get relationships no more. Their family don't want them to come around to the what do you call it, the family functions and things like that no more, man. All right, you can't be involved in your children's school life and everything else like that because all these things going on. Hey, your kids got depression now because they how you call it, their classmates and found you out on OnlyFans and everything else like that. Now your videos is going around. There was a chick, I seen a clip the other day. She was bugging the hell out talking about some that some of her OnlyFans people that was watching her found her parents and started sending her parents videos of her you know what I'm saying putting some things in her mouth that shouldn't have been in there on videotape. You know what I'm saying? And so, and she was like, man, the conversation I had to have with my mom about those things and blah, blah, blah. I can't even talk to them no more. Hey, but you did it all for a little bit of fame and everything else like that, man. And at the end all be all, she was just saying, I just want a man to just take care of me and I don't have to work and I could just sit at home and watch anime all day long. And then you had all these other women who was like, nah, that's you. She was like, nah, I'm telling y'all, I've been to where y'all think that y'all trying to go and everything, and it's not what it's all worked up to be, man. All right, but yet and still, hey, they was given over to this reprobate mind, this mindset to these things, man. But this is what this here society pushes. But for what end? We'll get to that again, like I said in this here video. But matter of fact, we'll go ahead and play the video because we didn't went on too far. But let's just play this here video and we'll close out.
James Bond type of thrillers, but in reality, the main emphasis of the KGB is not in the area of intelligence at all. According to my opinion and opinion of many defectors of my caliber, only about 15% of time, money, and manpower is spent on espionage as such. The other 85% is a slow process, which we call...
So what he's basically saying is like, most people think about, the spying and stuff like that is, they watching you and spying and this is an A. And this is an old ass video, right, from 1985. So you can think about how much more advanced it is today with the technology that they have. They're not really spying on you like that. Like, I mean, they spying on you, but they're not spying on you like that to try to see what you're doing, right? What they're in the business of doing, what they're about to start telling you about is programming you to react and act certain types of ways, programming you to do certain things, man. Just like right now you're into the Matter of fact, you just had Thanksgiving that passed, right? They done programmed you to go out to the grocery store. We know we about to sell a bunch of turkeys because we programmed them. When this day come around, y'all go buy turkeys. Now we done programmed y'all on the day after. Go out to the stores and go spend money. What they call it, Cyber Monday. Hey, y'all gonna be all on Amazon buying a whole bunch of things. Christmas, y'all gonna be opening up a whole bunch of gifts, taking all this here credit card debt and paying it back with your income tax checks, man. So hey, they don't really like what he's saying. Like, we're not really just spying on you trying to see what you up here doing. We program you to do what we want you to do. All right.
Either ideological subversion or active measures, активные мероприятия in the language of the KGB, or psychological warfare. What it basically means is to change the perception of reality of every American.
So there it is, a changed perception. Like I said, they're not spying on you to see what you're doing. They're more or less programming you into these things, man. All right, and he's going to get into what they call demoralization. All right, and what we just read here, how they didn't want to retain the Most High into their minds. He gave them over to this reprobate mind. All right, hey, you didn't want to follow after the law, statutes, commandments. You didn't want to do what I told you was right. We're going to give you over to these things, man. All right, but you have these unwise kings that's instructing these people to do these things for what reason, man? All right, so that they can sit here and sell you a lie the whole damn time, man. All right, the blind leading the blind, leading you into this is why they call this place Babylon the Great, land of confusion, man. All right, and they're just this place is just destroying people. The scriptures say, "Hey, this is not your rest. This place is polluted or destroy you, even with the sword of destruction." Hey, but this is what Babylon does, man. It chews you up and spits you out on the other side, man. Uses you up and abuses you, man. This is what the devil does, man. You become a slave unto the damn devil, man. All right, hey, who is become victorious up against Babylon, man? Babylon has been undefeated, man. All right, you may have seen people that so-called come up, become so-called rich and wealthy and prosperous and things, just for them to be chewed up and spit out on the other side, man. Nobody has defeated Babylon yet, man. Save the elect, because why? The elect has, how do you say, departed from this here place, man. The only way to win this here fight is to not to participate over in this here thing, man. All right, and like the scripture we read earlier, to be carnally minded is enmity with the Most High, man. All right, they're living after the flesh out here, man. This is what Babylon does for you, man. But living after the spirit is the only way to win out here, man. All right, so let's get back to this video.
To such an extent that despite of the abundance of information, no one is able to come to sensible conclusions in the interests of defending themselves, their families, their community, and their country.
So that was a lot right there. So you're not going to be able to defend yourself, your family, your community, or any of these things, because why? You've believed so many of these damn lies, man. All right, you're so far gone into this here. They've demoralized you so far bad. You believe in, again, let's go back to the body positivity thing. You can just eat whatever you want, and just being obese, overweight, and all these things is just healthy as long as you're happy and everything. How can you be happy when you can barely move? All right. How can you be happy when you can't even wipe your own mask, man? All right, can't even get into the shower. You can't even walk without using a walker, man. All right. We've all seen those people that be in the grocery store carts, ass cheeks hanging out on both sides of the damn little wheelchair type thing. He does little motorized carts and everything. Can't even bend over to get something up off the damn shelf. They trying to go get more food. Can't even get it off the shelf. But you trying to tell me that that's happy and healthy, man? You don't think that these people think about this shit when they trying to get in the shower, put clothes on, take clothes off, and do all kind of other crazy things like that, man? But yet and still, hey, when you have people that's giving over to this reprobate mindset, hey, they'll still think, no, it's fine. You can just do whatever you want to go and do and everything else like that, man. All right, again, look at any of these people and any of these lifestyles. Have any of them come out successful, really successful on the other side? Show me one successful porn star. All right, they made some money, this and that. But ask them if they're actually happy with their life. All right, you had a time frame where a lot of these women was just killing themselves in massive numbers because they was, I believe it was right time of the pandemic when they had to go home and be with their significant others, and they was all afraid that the world was ending. But they didn't have nobody, man. All right, they couldn't have, not to say they couldn't have kids, but things would be bad if they was to have kids and the lifestyles they was living. And you had some of them saying they want to denounce that type of lifestyle, but it's just going to follow them no matter where they go. But hey, see if anybody has been if anybody has become victorious against this here system, man. This ideology and things like that, man. Serving this here beast, this here this devil over here, man. Has anybody become prosperous, all right, and actually become successful serving this damn devil, all right? Or has the devil wound up claiming all your damn souls at the end of the day anyway, man? All right.
It's a great brainwashing process which goes very slow, and it's divided in four basic stages. The first one being demoralization. It takes from
So it's going into the demoralization as we was just reading about. All right, giving them over to this here reprobate mind. All right, now, hey, who gave us good morals to begin with? All right, the Most High with the law, statutes, and commandments, man. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not steal. You know, dealing with your brothers and things like that. All these different things going on down, man. All right, gave us you know, how to act, what to do, the law, statutes, basically all the law, statutes, commandments, man. All right, how you know, what is you know, lawful sex and who you can lawfully have sex with and everything else like that. But as we read it over here, hey, they gave him over to a vile affection to change the natural use, which is against nature. All right, indulging in sex with one another. Well, how is that convenient? What is sex for? Sex is for reproduction. But if you're doing it in a way where you can't reproduce, what good is that, man? You become demoralized. And now you see all these people with these weird, we're not going to go too far into it, but hey, you know, just dealing with a lot of these, like, you talk about a lot of these women that can so-called get to that certain moment, we'll have to say, right? And the reasons why a lot of these women can't get to that certain moment is because look at the type of instruments that they have that they can sit there and be playing with and things like that, man. Some of these things, battery operated vibrations and things like that, is nothing natural, nothing close to being like a natural human being. So now once you introduce yourself to these things, man, all right, then all of a sudden it's like, well, now I got to try to chase that high or try to compete with that. There's no way possibly to compete with those things, man. You dealing with 100 different men and you trying to settle down with just one man. Hey, man, you've had too many choices, man. All right, you've had too much to so-called choose from, man. All right, so yet and still, you know, it's like asking a person about their favorite place to live, and they done lived all over the whole entire globe. They, well, I like this place because of the weather here. I like this place because of the scenery. I like this place because of the mountains. I can't find one particular place, but you find somebody who just grew up in one place. They'll tell you why they. Hey, I like this here place. I mean, I like this part, that part, this part, this part, that part about it, man. You know, I can live without all the rest of stuff, you know, but yet and still you have all these choices and options. Hell, look at these women that's on social media and these dating apps and things like that. They got an abundance of people to meet and mingle with. All these people all in their inboxes and stuff like that, but yet can't find one person. All right, but getting still, hey, this is the placement. All right.
15 to 20 years to demoralize a nation. Why that?
Let's go back to
Very
this.
slow, and it's divided in four basic stages. The first one being demoralization. It takes from 15 to 20 years to demoralize a nation. Why that many years? Because this is the minimum number of years which requires to educate one generation of students in the country of your enemy.
And so that's what, you know, you can go back to Hitler who did that with the youth. All right. But the same thing is going on now. Like we were reading about how they were stopping that propaganda bill and giving them the books for Happy Meals and things like that. Why are they targeting the children? Because hey, you program this generation of children, they're gonna grow up to become the lawmakers and the you know, the people that's not to say ruling class, but the people in all these places of positions and things like that. They're gonna be so used to this from growing up, it's gonna be the norm for them. All right, so hey, you have this new generation of people that's being trained up like this to demoralize them when they get into those positions of power. What do you think they're going to bring along with them? All right, you got a whole generation of people growing up with purple and pink hair. All right, chest tattoos and face tattoos and everything else like that. Hey, man, about, you know, Lord's will we don't go on this far, but let's just say hypothetically, 20, 30 years from now, hey, man, you're going to have top CEOs and execs coming into work with purple and green hair, chest and face tattoos. It's going to be the normal thing to do, man. All right, your so-called pastors in your churches is going to be looking like that, man. All right, all kind of abominations going around because why? Hey, the whole society is just going to be normal into that, man. That's going to be the new normal thing to do. All right.
Exposed to the ideology of the enemy. In other words, Marxism-Leninism ideology is being pumped into the soft heads of at least three generations of American students without being challenged or counterbalanced by the basic values of Americanism.
And then tying that into this here truth, just like how the family of the word is coming into play, there's things that you can talk about, things you can't talk about. When you come from this here ideology of the things that's in the scriptures, we're not promoting that. You know, I was watching the video, they were saying about how they got this guy, I forgot what his name was, but he's one of the T's talking about some he ain't even an actual T. He be putting on dresses and shit. Talking about how he want to become a mother one day. And they was pushing and promoting it, and I was so happy for him. But let an actual woman say that she want to be a mother, you know, a wife and a mother, that's the worst thing possible. You should just go out there and live your life. Don't worry about becoming a mother. But you see how backwards this is, right? But hey, they start to believe any and everything.
Patriotism. The result you can see. Most of the people who graduated in the 60s, dropouts or half-baked intellectuals, are now occupying the positions of power in the government, civil service, business, mass media, educational system. You are stuck with them. You cannot get rid of them. They are contaminated. They are programmed to think and react to certain stimuli in a certain pattern. You cannot change their mind, even if you expose them to authentic information, even if you prove that white is white and black is black. You still cannot change the basic perception and the logic of behavior. In other words, these people, the process of demoralization is complete and irreversible. To get rid society of these people, you need another 20 or 15 years to educate a new generation.
And this is why the scripture says this in oh wait a minute. Matthew 24 verse let's start at verse 21. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no nor ever shall be. And except those days should be shortened, there should be no flesh saved, but for the elect's sake, those days should be shortened. Now, again, going into what he's saying, because you've programmed, again, a whole generation, all right, from children, all right, now they didn't graduate from high school to college. Now they become the CEOs and execs of, all these different things that's going on and everything else like that. And they have this so-called wokeism. Hey, you got these people that like nowadays, what I'm saying? Like I said, they had them people that was complaining about that they had to actually show up to work to get a paycheck. Oh, they're making me come to work. This is just oppressive. Hey, but guess who? They're probably upper management and things like that were people of their same age bracket and lifestyles who didn't have to really do shit like that, man. All right, they never had to really actually go to the office. If you had some so-called old heads, it's like as a young person, probably around the age that I am when you were younger, showing up to work and everything else like that, having a cell phone, and then the boss like, "What you need that cell phone for?" Because they ain't never had phones, but they was being able to roam around. When you went to go to work, your house phone was still at the house. You had a landline phone. You weren't coming to work with the damn cell phone and everything and all these different things. Like even now, you go to work with some adults like maybe my age or older. They're not sitting there scrolling on no goddamn Twitter and Instagram and shit like that all goddamn day. Like, I got better shit to do than that, man. All right, but yet you see these young kids, this is all that they doing. Instagram, Twitter, that's the norm for them. Now, hey, when they get a little bit older, hey, they're gonna probably be sending out how you say updates at work, the meetings and shit like that over a Twitter post, man. We posted that shit on the Instagram. You know what I'm saying? So fuck that. We're gonna have a little updated. This is not over Instagram. Like, bro, why not just have an actual meeting where we sit down and we talk? But yet and still, hey, this is the new generation.
Generation of patriotically minded and common sense people who would be acting in favor and in the interests of the United States society.
And yet these people who've been programmed and, as you say, in place and who are favorable to an opening with the Soviet concept, these are the very people who would be marked for extermination in this country?
Most of them, yes. Simply because the psychological shock when they will see in future what the beautiful society of equality and social justice means in practice, obviously they will revolt. They will be very unhappy, frustrated people.
And just to counter on that same point, again, when you see these people that you think they pushing and promoting these people in these here lifestyles, but in reality, it's just we know which people that we're not gonna bring into the new society because these people dumb enough to believe this shit. We're not gonna bring them in. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't need people like these are the freeloaders off of life. They don't have no real common sense. They're not really productive, citizens. They're not going to be really good for the building of things, man. All right, if I was like, hey, who want to just sit home and get paid all damn day long, and you don't want, you just want to sit home and get paid all damn day long, and half the room raise their hand and everything else like that. I'm like, all right, so we know that all these folks is lazy fuckers. We don't need to hire them. We'll put them over here, and then sooner or later we'll just get rid of them. All the other folks that say, nah, we'd rather work for it. All right, these are gonna be a better pool of so-called hard workers that we know we could probably depend on. But these other folks over here, they just want to sit around and get a paycheck anyway. So we're not even going to even waste our time with them. You know how long it would take to separate this whole room like that? Let's throw out there, let's throw out some bait and let them fish for these here things. See if they think that this is okay and everything else like that. Hey, think about the people that's on top pushing this here ideology. They don't bring this for their own household and their children, man. All right, they want you and your children to do these things, man. All right.
And the Marxist-Leninist regime does not tolerate these people. They will join the links of dissenters, dissidents. Unlike in present United States, there will be no place for dissent in future Marxist-Leninist America. Here you can get popular like Daniel Ellsberg.
All right, I'm not gonna play any more of the video. You can watch it on your own. There's another point, a couple points in there he made I wanted to touch on, but this video's got too long. But going into the point of, they won't be able to see these things until you throw them into the damn cage and hit them with the boot. And once you got the damn boot on the back of their neck, then they'll realize it. But that's just like these people here when they hit the wall, then they realize these things. Speaking on whatever path that they want to take. Well, hell, even that term hitting the wall for women. They think that they're gonna be young, pretty, and fine forever when they're in their 20s and getting all that attention and everything. They think that high is gonna go on forever. You can't tell them nothing. I'm living my life. I don't need no man. This and that. But then the thing that they never do is they never go talk to a 30 or 40-year-old woman. And if they do, that woman is scorned, and she's the one telling you the same thing. But hey, once they get to that certain age, well, why are men all they? You have to ask these women, why do they think all men are crappy? All right, it's really because they've passed their prime, and these men are wanting younger women. All right, but getting still, hey, you over here 40 years old, been giving your box away free at the bar every night for 20 years. You know what I'm saying? And don't nobody want that, man. All right, you didn't use the party fun girl. Ain't nobody really trying to take you home and marry you. But when they get to that certain age, now they go get that box swan, you get that cat and that dog, and they over here watching these soap operas, man. All right, but hey, this is what you have going on to this here society that's going down. That's going down, man. All right, what are you that call good, evil, good, evil, and evil good? All right, you have these here people that's out here that's leading you astray with these things, man. You have this here an unwise king that's set forth destroying their people, man. I just wanted to touch on this because, like I said, I was watching this video earlier off, but then also reading in those two articles about what Russia's doing at a time like this. And they got all this propaganda about Russia, 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 but they say, look, we're not gonna have all this here propaganda that's being pushed on TV. All right, and we're gonna be giving our kids to the toys. We're gonna be giving them books and things to strengthen their mind. But yet and still, the narrative over here is Russia's so bad, but in America's so good. But then you wonder why you have all these people suffering so-called mental issues, all on drugs, shooting up people in the spots. The love of many is waxing cold. All kind of craziness is going on over here in Babylon the Great. But yet people don't think that it's a result of what they're being fed. All right. Or being given over to that reprobate mind because, hey, they didn't want to retain the Most High in their thoughts, man. All right, but I'm going to go ahead and close out with that. Lord willing, the elect was edified with this here lesson. Until next time, I say, call halal Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Rakakudash. Double honors to the apostle and elders, the great millstone, and taught us his truth never will. And salutation and much love for you, Aki, and pushing his truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. Until next time, I say, stay strong. Shalom.